this video, we're going to talk about how to complete the square. Now, let's say I want to solve a quadratic by completing the square. What are my steps? Well, the first thing you're going to do is move all the variables to the left and all the constants to the right side of the equation. It'll look like this: ax squared plus bx equals c. Then you're going to divide everything through by a if a doesn't already equal 1. After that, you're going to take whatever your new value of b is, divide it by 2, and square it. That's the number you want to add to both sides. That makes it so that the left side of the equation is a perfect square trinomial. So then you can rewrite it as x plus b over 2a quantity squared. That means you can then solve by the square root property. Now, let's take a look at what that looks like in practice. So what if I gave you the equation x squared plus 4x minus 21 equals 0? Well, the first thing I need to do is add 21 to both sides. That way, all my variables are on the left and my constant is on the right-hand side. Now, in this case, my leading coefficient is already 1, so I get to skip the step of dividing through by a. So what I'll do now is I will take my b value, which is 4. I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. That's 2 squared, or 4. That's what I want to add to both sides of the equation. When I do that, I now have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 25. Now, I'm going to be able to factor the left side of the equation because it's a perfect square trinomial. It's going to come out to be x plus 2 squared equals 25. That means all I have to do now is use the square root property to solve the equation. So I'll take the square root of both sides, which leaves me x plus 2 on the left and plus or minus 5 on the right. Then I'm going to solve for x by subtracting by 2 on both sides. Now, x equals negative 2 plus or minus 5 isn't how we want to write our final answer. We can actually do this addition and subtraction, so we are going to do that to simplify. So negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7, and negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3. Those are my two answers for this quadratic. Now, let's take a look at another one. This one involves a coefficient at the beginning, at the front, that isn't 1. So we will work with fractions a little bit. Let's see how we can do with it. It's 3x squared minus x minus 10 equals 0. So first thing I'll do is add 10 to both sides, because again, I want that constant over on the right-hand side of the equation. Then I'm going to divide through by 3. That means every single term gets divided by 3. That gives me x squared minus 1/3 x equals 10/3. Now, don't worry about these fractions. It's okay. It'll all turn out fine, promise. So at this point, I'm going to take my b value, that's negative 1/3. I'm going to divide it by 2, or multiply by 1/2, same thing, and square it. That gives me negative 1/6 squared, or 1 over 36. That's what I'm going to add to both sides of my equation. And 10/3 plus 1 over 36 comes out to be 121 over 36 once you find the common denominator and combine those fractions. Now, I can factor the left-hand side of the equation to be x minus 1/6 quantity squared. So now that I have it in this format, I just need to take the square root of both sides. That makes the left side x minus 1/6 and the right side plus or minus 11/6. To solve for x, I'm going to add 1/6 to both sides. Now, 1/6 minus 11/6 is negative 10/6, which simplifies to negative 5/3. And 1/6 plus 11/6 is 12/6, or 2. So my final answer for this is negative 5/3, or 2. And that is how you solve quadratic equations by completing the square.